Hi, it's Artemy. You can also call me Art, and you can find me at CUArtist pretty much everywhere. So, before I even posted the video asking if anybody had any more things they would want me to talk about, my partner was just walking past me in the hallway and was like, "You should talk about the different mediums you've done for comics." And I was like, that came out of the blue. Very funny, because I am already going to be asking people that, but I guess I will talk about it. Unfortunately, I think the main examples I have of completed comics that are not just fully digital art are either incredibly old Faragon comics, which I have kind of already shown here, and some Harry Potter fan comics, which are also relatively old at this point. But I will show you some snippets of those, I guess. Just know that I do not really enjoy that series anymore because the author is not a great person. So, yep. And that is where I will leave that. But I will show you some of my old non-digital comics for the sake of some pictures to shove in here. And there were at times points where I fully considered, because I couldn't get the right brushes for Faragon, I had considered doing all of the line art digitally and then printing it onto watercolor paper to do the coloring. But that would be horrific when you are doing at least 500 pages of comic, in my opinion. And now I have brushes that do the job for me, so delightful. So I have done comics in colored pencil and Prismacolor markers. When I was still in high school, I haven't really done that since. And I've also done at least one watercolor comic and one in Sharpie and highlighter. Yeah. I do enjoy traditional comics. I think they can be so much fun. I think sometimes it might be good and you might not try and redo pages as much, but that is not necessarily how I have experienced it when I was doing more traditional comics. Because I couldn't make smaller adjustments to the pages, I would redo pages a lot more. And that is the case even with little short fan comics that I was doing. I was trying to get the correct look for the first page, so I was doing a lot of tests, and I did end up doing the first page a decent amount of times. When I do traditional art, I end up doing it a lot smaller, and that would definitely be a problem if I am trying to print it at a larger size. I had not really realized you could do watercolors in a more cartoony style until I started watching Casey Golden on YouTube, and it absolutely blew my mind that you could have that more cartoony line art and still have the texture of watercolor traditionally. I was just overwhelmed by that knowledge and did a comic about it. It also is a lot more nerve-wracking for me personally, even though I know you can go in and edit things afterwards. There's just so much more room for mistakes, and at the time I was doing the more traditional comics, I was not as well versed in editing pictures after the fact. Currently, I use Snapseed to edit most of my art, even the digital stuff. It is free and just has a lot of good features that I enjoy using. Especially with traditional art, I can adjust the proportions if I had to take it not top down and it looks a little bit funky. Definitely worthwhile, in my opinion. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you do a comic fully traditionally, impressive. That is absolutely incredible. I am so much of a perfectionist that it takes way more time for me to do. But I do think it is a lot of fun to do smaller, one-off comics in that, just to kind of get out of the usual zone. I am a firm believer that you can learn things from pretty much anything. You just kind of have to figure out how to apply it differently. That was kind of vague, so I will elaborate a little bit more, I guess. I think doing things in different mediums can really get you outside of your usual creative box, And that can open up your brain for how to do things differently in your usual medium. And even like outside of just doing art in a different medium, I think if you're reading something, you can realize things that will help you with your story writing, or watching something. I just think you can learn so much if you kind of just analyze how you are perceiving the world, I guess, using metacognition or something. My high school English teacher would be so proud. One of the projects I have kind of on the back burner currently is I'm making a tarot card set, and I'm just taking a set that was given to me by an ex-coworker, and I am painting over it and also collaging, and it is so much fun, and definitely just working with the textures and having that like different thing to be doing, it really makes you like think about things differently, and I think that that is good for your brain. And especially like because they are so small, there's a lot of like, I have to make the faces of the people in them kind of a lot less detailed, and that can be really helpful for figuring out how to draw characters in backgrounds of shots. And there's just like so much learning that is to be had from learning how to do other things, and I just think that is awesome. And even if you're not learning like a specific technique or what you enjoy, you can learn when to stick a project out, or you can learn when you do need to kind of let something go. And I just think that working in a lot of different mediums can definitely just like give you a lot more options. Still, working on a very long form comic, I just cannot do it fully traditionally, but I do think it is really worthwhile to have those projects on the side. And also it can be really fulfilling when you have something physical to hold in your hands, which is why I do eventually want to have my comic printed, but when you are doing something traditionally, you can have that a lot sooner. I also think this is interesting because when I was younger, I did really think that the only option for making webcomics was digital art. And that is really not the case. You can do it with whatever medium you have, whatever is most comfortable for you, and no matter what, you will still be learning how to do comics. So, yeah. That is all I have for today. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you tomorrow.